remember walking off and it just feeling like the longest walk. And I got to Hope and she just grabbed both my hands and she went, "We're gonna be okay." There's no way to express, I don't think, how much influence Hope's had. Because when she took over that England team, we weren't very good. We weren't very fit. We didn't have an infrastructure in the league. I think Hope had a huge influence on the FAWSL as it stands now. She made us organised, she got us fitter. She had a huge impact on the actual domestic game too. She knew that the infrastructure needed to be better. And obviously she's working for Brighton now, so she's still having an influence on the league. I will be eternally grateful and indebted to her because she gave me 116 caps. And I do believe that playing for England changed my life. So I owe her an awful lot. And then when she left, my career at England was pretty much over. I think 2005 made me. Whether Hope did it intentionally or not, I don't know. 2001, I didn't really expect to make the squad. 2005, I'd played pretty much every game leading up to the opening games because Faye White had been injured. And then to not kick a ball for the whole tournament was tough. And I remember that being a massive pivotal moment and a springboard because at that point, I don't know if Hope did it on purpose, but I was rolling my sleeves up. And that's when my whole focus changed. That's when I started getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning and I started training every day. And I made myself like, do you know what? I might not have that talent or that talent, but where can I go and how can I make up for it in other areas? And I just trained harder than everyone else. I was prepared to work harder than everyone else. And that's been my driver now since that tournament. The central contracts made a difference to us because, albeit it was £16,000 a year, which is not a huge amount of money in the game, it meant that I could go part-time at work. So I didn't have to work full-time. So I ended up leaving the job at Beckham Academy and actually taking on the Chelsea Ladies Academy. I love coaching. I think it's the next best thing to play in, but that wasn't full-time, although the hours I put in, because I drove the minibus, I washed the kit, I sorted out the housing, the education. It felt like a full-time job, but I loved it. But it meant that I could still do my training at the same time, and it meant I could recover better. I didn't have to get up for work every morning. I could choose my hours and set the program to suit me and the job that I had. And it did make a difference. You know, we were never going to be rich, but it meant that we could focus a little bit more on football. I felt like it wasn't meant to be that Euros for me because I trained really hard. I'm playing left back, and anyone that knows me knows I'm not a dominant left footer, but I could run. I could get up and down the pitch all day at that point because I was super fit. So we were preparing for the tournament and we were doing 1v1s with the goalkeepers, and Siobhan came out and landed on my left ankle, and I thought I was going to be out. Anyway, we did a lot of work and I managed to get back fit for the first game. 33 minutes in, Farah plays into midfield, gives it away, and they play through and I try to cover. I think it was my pinky. Literally my pinky got caught in the Italian forward's top. Well, down she goes. And I'm thinking, I'm going, get up, it's not even a free kick. And I turn around and I just see the red card and I was like, like my stomach fell out. And I was like, oh my God, I've let my team down, I've let my family down. Like, this is the worst moment. And I remember walking off and it just feeling like the longest walk. And I got to Hope and she just grabbed both my hands and she went, "We're going to be okay." And I remember going in the change room and I kicked things and there was a few choice words and then the psychologist followed me straight in and I was absolutely devastated. But I remember thinking, like, I can't make this about me now. And we ended up losing the game. Second game, I'm sitting in the stand. My family were there at this point, and we were 2-0 down. And Kelly Smith does what Kelly Smith does and gets us back in the game, gets us winning again. And we end up getting to a final. And Germany were just far superior to us in that final. They were just on another level at that point than we were, and we couldn't compete. But to get to a final and get a medal, but I remember thinking, I don't want a silver, I want a gold. Unfortunately, I never got to achieve that. Do you know what I'm really proud of? The fact that I could have made choices in 2005 because it was the same manager, it was Hope Powell. And I could have made a choice and felt sorry for myself and walked away. And instead I dug deep and I made that choice to just prove myself. And even if I hadn't of, I could have looked back and said it wasn't me because I did it. And then to get the call off Hope to say, "You're going to be captain," the same manager 7 years previously didn't think I was even good enough to step on the pitch, was a huge moment for me. It was hard to earn her respect. and I'd earned it. And then obviously to captain Team GB at Home Olympics was one of the best moments of my career, to walk out at Wembley, 72,000, beat Brazil. It was amazing. But then the highs follow the lows of getting knocked out, you know, and that was a real tough time after that tournament. Felt like it ended super prematurely. And I think the lesson I now learn as a head coach is to never get too high and never get too low. But as a player, I didn't manage that very well. And after we got knocked out against Canada, everybody normally goes back into the Olympic Village and enjoys it. Like, I couldn't get myself off the floor. And I'm still reminded that I missed Super Saturday now by my partner, because I literally said, I need to get out of here. I couldn't switch the telly on. I couldn't watch the Olympics. I genuinely felt at that point, and I've always felt a huge responsibility for the women's game, that if in 2012 we could have medalled, I felt it would have been a pivotal moment for the women's game to change. And I really wanted that. I wanted to make the game better. And I felt we missed an opportunity. And I felt responsible as captain. You know, I led the team. And so we packed the car up, 8-hour drive to France, didn't turn the telly on for 2 weeks. I needed to do that because 2 weeks later we were going to be back into the league or pre-season. I needed to do that. I needed to get away, clear my head, refresh, so that I could come back and actually want to play again. When you're sat at home watching the TV and the new manager announces that he's naming a new captain and you don't even know, that's a tough moment, because you think, right, my career's over. I'm not even worthy of a conversation. And at that point, I could have gone, I'm done. I'm so done. I felt like I maybe earned a conversation or a little bit more respect. And we didn't start off on good foot for that. And it wasn't managed the way I would manage it. But again, it's another lesson for me as a manager, how I would have done things differently. I got 116 caps when Hope left. I finished 4 years later on 130. And on one of those, I was brought on for 30 seconds against the Stoney when we were 8-0 up. So I hung around, I think, because I felt like I wanted to end on my terms. And I wanted to end a career that I felt like I'd worked really hard for, my way. And I also felt like I could still massively contribute, because at the time when I lost the captaincy, I got left out the squads, I was playing well. 2016, we just won the FA Cup final, and I still felt like, and then I was told I was third choice, and then somebody else came in, and all of a sudden I'm thinking, well, I'm fourth choice, and then someone else came in at centre back, and I thought, well, I'm just not going to play. I have to accept that that's, you know, me being Hope's captain maybe went against me with the new manager. But then I thought, you know what, I need to build a relationship with him, and I need to make sure that I'm still contributing. And I had a conversation with someone that said to me, how can you make yourself so valuable that even when you don't play, you're picked? And it was a real turning point for me in terms of, right, okay, if I'm not playing, how do I contribute off the grass, in meetings, with players, in a leadership role? Because I might not have the armband, but I can still be a leader. And if I train really hard on pushing the centre-backs and they perform well, then I've played my part. If I can help them tactically, if I can help in meetings, or I can connect the manager to the players, or I can solve problems that maybe he doesn't know about, if we can go to a tournament and win, then even if I haven't played, I've maybe made a small contribution that's impacted on the team. So I had to change my mindset. It was tough. There were tears. There was moments where I wanted to walk. There was moments when I was so close to packing my suitcase and leaving. But I'm not a quitter, and I don't quit, and I wouldn't quit. And I stuck with it. And I'm so glad I did, because I would have missed out on a bronze medal, and I would have missed out on so many incredible experiences. And we ended up having, you know, half a decent relationship, and he would come to me and I would contribute in meetings, and it was off my back that I chose to do that. And I've got so many learning experiences that I've taken with me in this job now because of it. I felt 2015 was a turning point. We love winning teams, don't we? So everyone got behind the nation. Some of the games were on at good times. And I knew that when I got in a black cab. And the taxi driver started talking to me about players and knew their names. And I was like, I didn't know who I was, but he was talking about the Women's World Cup. And I just thought the conversation had changed. We were talking about games and performances, not men versus women. It was about, you know, wasn't that a great game? Wasn't that a great moment? Oh, it's so unfortunate with the own goal. And I think maybe that was meant to be too, because we had an own goal in the dying seconds of a semi-final, which is like, there's your dreams, rug pulled away from you like that. And when you've lost, to then come back winning That's the point of the third and fourth medal. You can come back still winning. To then go against Germany, like our arch rivals who we hadn't beaten before, to win the game, to come back with a bronze, I thought was a turning point. I'm super proud to be part of that group. That's an incredible group of players, but people who drove the game. At the time, you don't realise you're doing it, but I think the game is where it is now because of all of those that have gone before me that gave me the opportunity to do what I could do. And I had a responsibility, and I always wanted to leave the shirt in a better place than when I took it. And I think we did that, and to achieve that many caps together as a group going through, I think that's why we evolved and became the team that we did, and we had successes. It's about passing the baton on, isn't it? And if you can pass that baton on in a better place and you give them a good changeover and off they go, then we're taking the game forward, And my perspective on the game changed in 2014 when I had kids, because I said no matter what the finances in the game, I always want my little girls to grow up with the same opportunities as my little boy. They should never be told no. And I was told no, I shouldn't, couldn't, won't my entire career. So I have a responsibility to them to make sure that I stand up, to make sure that I do the right things with integrity, to make sure that I'm constantly challenging the norms so that those norms are different and that my little girls can grow up in a better society.